Okay, we are live on YouTube and live on Facebook. I am Margie Fink with Transfiguring Adoption. We are signing in for our weekly Monday Caregiver check-in. This is your time to ask questions, give advice, share thoughts, share frustrations, whatever. This is your time. Just small print, we are foster and adoptive parents ourselves. I am flying solo today. Darren is driving to Knoxville, so he is not with me, sadly. He is on the road, hopefully through Atlanta by now. So he is going to do a convention this weekend in Knoxville. So if you are at Fanboy this weekend, you can stop by and visit Darren at our booth. I will be at the National Foster Parent Association Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here in sunny Orlando. So we both have busy weeks, but we are signing in right now just to check in, see how you're doing, and chat with all of our friends. So let's do that. Hang tight with me as Darren's kind of our tech person, and so normally he's kind of doing all this stuff. And I wanted to make sure I got everything up here so that I can see your comments and chat with you. So let me know as you're signing in here. We had two questions right at the end last week. So as you're signing in, first of all, share, get your friends on here so that we can have more people. More people equals better talking, better conversation. So but I want to know, one, what do you do for self-care? That was a question we had last week. What are some different ideas? And two, any ideas of places that are free or discounted for foster or adoptive families? That was a question we had last week right at the end. So we said we were going to address those questions. So as you're signing in here, let us know if you have any thoughts on those questions. And I will get those into the comments here so that people joining can join in. So what do you do for self-care? And do you know of any places that give discounts to foster or adoptive families? Okay, so how's everybody's week been? As you're signing on here, most of you know, if you've been joining us a lot, that Darren and I have recently moved to Orlando, and it's been a crazy, just convoluted move, and we've been working on settling in, and this week has been great in that we've gotten a lot done. We're closer to feeling like we're settled in, like this is home, but I don't know, have you ever had the experience where you buy a new house and it's like the house knows and it seems like everything breaks? That's kind of what we've been going through in the last week. It seems like we're almost done with our projects, and then like Darren was packing on Sunday night or Saturday night to get ready to drive to Knoxville, and all of a sudden I heard this huge crash, and about half of the racks in our closet had just like ripped out of the wall and fallen down, and everything from our closet was all just bent up and messed up in the middle of our closet floor. And it just feels like sometimes that just, I don't know, I looked at it and I kind of walked away and was like, I just can't even deal with this right now. It was crazy. But it's mostly picked up now, but now we have some more fixes to do. So the project list just seems like it just keeps going and going and going. So how has your week been? Chime in here, let us know. And then, like I said, from the end of last week, we had those two questions. What do you do for self-care? And do you know of any places that are free or give discounts to foster or adoptive families? So I'm just getting to know Orlando, so I don't know a whole lot about what is available here for families. I know in Knoxville, there were a few different things, like the Once Upon a Child store gives discounts to foster families. So if you're looking for quality used clothes for your foster children, that is a great place to go and find some great deals on some nice clothes for your kiddos. Another great opportunity. Erin says, go out with friends for wine and dinner. My kids are older, so it is easy for me to get away. Yes, that's awesome. That is so much fun. That is so neat. I want to be able to go out with friends. So, yeah, so discounts on clothes at Once Upon a Child in Knoxville. Also, Dollywood gives foster children once a year a free ticket. You do have to kind of let them know a couple weeks in advance the date. From our time in Illinois, I know a great resource was the Magic House in St. Louis, which was close to us. It was a place that allowed foster families to get in free. And it's just an amazing, fun place. Lots of fun for our family. So if you're just joining us, we're looking for what do you do for self-care and what do you do, or do you know of any places that give discounts or free tickets or whatnot to foster or adoptive families. And as I know the gal that asked that last week isn't here this week. So as we kind of talk about that and people have ideas, that might be something that we will go ahead and put on our website so that people can access. So I know people are still just kind of chiming in. Another thing, if people have a chance, one thing that we'd love for folks to do is I will share a link to this conversation on both YouTube and Facebook. We have a survey on our website that we are asking if you've used any of our resources or have been a participant in any way, if you could please fill that out. We're looking for corporate sponsors and different grant opportunities. And as we do that, we need different numbers. So if you can fill out that survey for us, that would really, really help out a lot. And I see Darren is watching us from his travels. Hi, Darren. Okay. How are you doing, Darren? Got Maxine on and Kathy has popped in. Hey, everybody. I miss you, Darren, and your tech savviness. Okay. So that's the link for the survey. It's on Facebook. For some reason, it's not going onto YouTube. So if you get a chance, please, please, please fill out our survey. That will help us so much. It will help us just be able to get more resources to folks and also to be able to see what's helping you, what's not helping you. So we can really focus on what is helping the foster and adoptive families who are accessing our resources. We really, really want to know what you find helpful and what we can do to resource you even better. So we've had, Erin has talked about going out for wine and dinner with friends for self-care. That was a question we had last week. So what do you do? So anybody else, what are your ideas for self-care? I know that's something I am really, really bad at. Something that, as you know, we're in a new city now. Erin's talking about going out with friends. There was and when we were in Tennessee, there were folks that a lot of us, it's really awesome when you can find others that are on your journey, and even just, once a month or every once in a while, go out with some other foster and adoptive parents. It's just a great way to kind of be with people who are kind of going through the same stuff. It's also good to have just friends where you don't have to talk about the kids and you can just go out and just enjoy yourselves and just be yourself. Um, Different ideas for self-care. There's things like pampering yourself, doing things you enjoy. I know one time we were at a camp for foster and adoptive families, and one of the staff asked me, what are your hobbies? What do you love to do? And it was like, I had this realization that I didn't even remember what it was that I did. What did I do before kids? What were my hobbies? What did I find enjoyment in? And she really challenged me to kind of get back to those things and make sure that I'm doing something that is filling me back up so that I can fill up the kids, so that I can continue on this journey. And that's really important. And like I said, I'm really, really bad at it. But I did kind of find it's really great just to be able to carve out some time every once in a while to hang out with some other parents or friends, just get away. That's a big thing. I know I've had friends who have gone out, gone on mini trips without the kids, or just going on a trip with the girls, going on a trip with the guys, counseling. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to bring this other. So Laura says, counseling, this one can feel difficult because it requires vulnerability. I'm still learning so much, but having someone I can trust who can hear my heart and help me navigate my emotions, thoughts, and experiences. Yes, 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 yes. As foster and adoptive parents, when we're on this journey with our kids, it has a toll on us. It takes a toll on our emotions, on our bodies, just every part of our lives. And it's really, really important that we process that. And that's not something that we can do with the kids. That's something we need to get away and talk to a trusted adult. And also, when we are working with our kiddos, a lot of times, we might have things from our past that we didn't realize that we haven't actually coped with or dealt with. So counseling can be really great, as the kids kind of show us unknowingly, they don't know, but they kind of trigger some of those things in us. And we say, hey, wow, I didn't realize that I didn't really deal with this issue or this thing from my past. Darren says counseling is beneficial to anyone. It's for healthy people too. Absolutely. And it's how we stay healthy. That is such a good idea, Laura. That is an absolute important part of self-care, is that, that we can be healthy for the kids. We need to seek out care for ourselves, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, just everything. We need to take time. I know I'm really bad about, I'll get drained and I won't take care of my physical well-being. And that's just really important, getting out and going for a run, or, a lot of folks go to the gym and they find that really helps them to deal with all the different things they're going through, helps them to be a better parent. So absolutely great ideas. So chime in here. Anybody else, ideas what to do for self-care? Another thing that we're talking about, as people can join in, we had the question last week of discounted or free things for foster and adoptive families. So as folks join in, I want to statewide, nationwide. So anything that folks come across, we'd love to have just a place where we can list out what are those things that families can do. A lot of times when you bring in a lot of kids into your home, because a lot of foster and adoptive families are bigger families, and it's hard to go and do things because it just gets costly with a big family. So any ideas on things that can be free or discounted for foster adoptive families to give kids, a lot of times our kids, they don't need the material things, those memories and that fun, building those memories with your family, that is huge. Sorry. So those are ideas. And again, this is your time. So if anybody has any questions or thoughts, anything they want to share with folks, let's see. Laura says, I'm so bad about it. Self-care too, honestly. The really simple things like sleeping, eating, and drinking water can be easy to ignore when I'm busy and overwhelmed, and that only makes it worse. For sure. Yeah. Um, when I don't get enough sleep, it's really, really hard to deal with anything that's coming up with the kids. Darren says, get Transfiguring Adoption the name of a business owner, and we would love to ask if they would offer discount experiences for families. Yes, 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 for sure. And if anybody has ideas of businesses who would want to sponsor um, Transfiguring Adoption, any of those resources, we are looking for corporate sponsors and we are looking for grants currently. Hi, Rachel. Rachel is an awesome one of our mega volunteers, and she's also a professional. She's a great person to have along on our conversations. We love Rachel. Yay. All right, speaking of drinking water, here I am. I'm drinking my water, Laura. All right. So, anybody have any other thoughts, questions, ideas? I'm kind of drawing a blank today. So yeah, anything? How's your week going? I know I was sharing a little bit ago, if you weren't in here, just kind of the craziness of trying to get settled in a new city and a new state, new house, all those kinds of projects and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I have also been busy, busy, busy today. Let's see. So Darren says, what conference are you going to later this week? I said that just a little bit ago. I am going to the National Foster Parent Association Conference. I am going to be an exhibitor. Transfiguring Adoption will have a table there. So if anybody's coming, absolutely come and visit me. I want to see you. It's so awesome when we can, we get together often online and we do so much of what we're doing online. And it's so fun when we can, connect face to face with people that we've been talking with through Transfiguring Adoption. And I know last year there was a family that we talked to for so long, and they just happened to be in Knoxville, and it was so much fun just getting together and actually meeting face to face. So definitely, if you are in Orlando this week and you are going to the National Foster Parent Association Conference, stop by Transfiguring Adoption's table. Don't know where it's going to be at yet, but it will be there somewhere. And we will be sharing information, and we'll have a few of our little merch things that we sell. We'll have some stickers and t-shirts and bags available for people if they want to get those. Darren says there are so many summer camps or vacation Bible schools or just summer programming going on for kids. What should we let people in charge of these experiences know about our children? What is too much information? Yeah, that's a great one, Darren. That's a great question. So if you're, and this applies to back to school, will be happening here before too long. But any kind of situation where you have a summer camp, you have a vacation Bible school, you're dropping your child off somewhere with other adults, what do we need to share with them, and what's too much information? Kind of what's that line? How do we know? What do they need to know? What do they not need to know? Oh, Laura's not going to be there, but she's just south of Orlando. Yeah, it's the conference is at a hotel kind of on the south side. So I will be there. Yeah. So we just had a couple of our kids just went to a camp, and then one is actually in a vacation Bible school this week. And Darren asked that so important question. What do you share? How much is too much information? What do folks need to know when you're dropping your kids off? Whether it be for a few hours a day or Darren says, yay, Orlando and Florida folks. Yes, yes, yes. Laura, it's so cool to know that you are here in Florida. We are just kind of getting to know folks in the Orlando area. Laura says, I had an explosive teen this morning and I didn't handle it as well as I should. So self-care today is working on giving teen and myself boatloads of grace because some days are just rough. That is so, yes, yes. We have to give ourselves grace. One thing that I loved, I don't know if you've ever watched anything with Dr. Karen Purvis. She's a professional in the field. She wrote The Connected Child, and just has decades of experience with foster and adoptive kiddos. She did trust-based relational intervention, um, and she talked about how, when you're building a relationship with a child, that you're working on that bond, that connection, that oftentimes, we don't want to intentionally mess up, but when we mess up and we can go back to that child and say we're sorry, or give that child and give ourselves that grace. A lot of times those mistakes that we make, or those kind of situations where we don't handle it as well as we should, when we go back with the child and we have that kind of reconciliation, it actually makes the bond stronger. So like I said, it's not like we want to try to mess up, but when we do mess up, we can give ourselves grace and also go to the child and model for them just that behavior of saying, I'm sorry, or hey, I didn't handle that well. Maybe talking like, this is what I could have done better. This is, and kind of discussing that provides just a chance to connect with that child and make the bond even stronger. She talked about the neurochemistry and some of the different science behind that. But it's always kind of been something that Darren and I have said, okay, when we have messed up, that helps us to say, okay, we need to go back to the kiddo and kind of work on that together. So Delora, definitely, you need some self-care. And that can be just helping yourself understand, hey, we're all adults. I love, that is so good. There was a story, I know we've shared this a few times, but there was this story that we heard of someone observing a parent and a child in a public place, and the child spilled or something, and the way the parent responded was just like, we're all human, we're human, and we're going to be human for a long time. And that's just such, when we say we're all human, we are going to be human for a long time. We are going to make mistakes. And it is important just that we learn from that. We can go to the child and say, hey, I messed up. I'm human, you're human. And just, giving them that grace too, when they mess up, to say, hey, you're human. It's going to happen. Let's work on this together. We are a team. And coming at the child as we are a team, we're wanting to help them and all work together to be better people, just in general. All right. So Laura asks if we are Knoxville based. So we kind of started Transfiguring Adoption when we were in Knoxville a few years ago. A lot of what we do is web-based, so we've got international reach there. But we have volunteers that are popping up kind of around the country who are doing different projects. And so that we started piloting a lot of things in Knoxville. Now that we're in Florida, we had a couple actually organizations we were already working with here in Florida. So part of the move was just to come down here and find more connections and work on some of those relationships with agencies here in the Florida area. But nationally right now, we have the ELF Squad, and they're kind of our volunteer mobilization. And we are having people who are starting these ELF Squads around the country. And the ELF Squads where we do like a lot of our drives. Like last year we did night lights so that kids felt safe in a stranger's home. And a lot of those kinds of different drives are done locally. And so as we get volunteers in different places, that's helping us to kind of branch out more and help more around the country. Darren says, okay, so he is probably using Siri voice to text. So I think that should say, should we tell summer camps about our child's past history with birth family or any specifics about birth family? So what do you guys think? What is important to tell a summer camp about our child's history, about their birth family? And this is going to be different in different situations, and it's going to depend too on where your child is in kind of the stage of if they're in foster care currently, if they're still having visits. or if they're adopted, it's going to look kind of different. But Darren says, I can't wait for an ELF squad to start in the Orlando, Florida area so that the public is more educated on the needs of caregivers. So yeah, we started out Knoxville based, and I'd say now we have folks kind of all over the country popping up. We have squads, these ELF squads starting, and as the ELF squads start, what we do is we hook up those volunteers with local agencies so they can do different drives, they can do different things to help support, whether that's just, we tell them, hey, there's a foster care closet in this location, they need help sorting the donations, hey, can you go do that? Or different things, families really need this specific resource, can we do a drive and we'll get nightlights, or we'll, last year it's kind of a thing that seems small, but it was just really huge for caregivers, was drive for disposable dinnerware, because often people are getting placements, at all odd hours, and there's so much that has to be done when you first get a child into your home, setting up therapists, setting up appointments, going to the doctor, getting them into school, getting all the things that they need, and at the same time trying to connect with that child and make them feel safe. And it's amazing how just giving them the permission to, for a couple of days, just use disposable dinnerware, and be able to spend that time with the kid instead of doing dishes, it's just a huge thing. We've had different, in Knoxville and Nashville, Just Pizza offered full meals once a month to subscribers. We would do kind of a drawing. We still do this with the Nashville area. And we'd love to hook up with more restaurants or pizza places, things like that, because that's just a huge thing for caregivers to have. And that's part of self-care too. It's amazing how just a night off of cooking and having that for their family, so many families they're going to children's hospitals or specialists. They're constantly on the road going places, and just not have to worry about dinner for a night can be so just relieving and awesome. So back to Darren's question, should we tell summer camps about our child's past history with birth family, or any specifics on the needs, specifics about the birth family? I would say definitely, if you've got a child and you are around, that it's important for maybe the camp to know who's allowed to pick up the child. That's a big thing. Really, what is the need to know? What do they need to know about the child? And a lot of times they don't need to know so much about the birth family or specifics, but just maybe that they've been through trauma, and just giving them some education on how trauma impacts behavior, and what are the skills, what are some different strategies that work with your child? What should they know about your child, and how to help them? Sorry, I've got a child asking a question. Text messaging is great. I got to message a child about how to make asparagus. We're working on life skills. So, what life skills do you work on with your kids? What are you working on training your kids? We're kind of in the age frame where we're getting all middle school, high school, and young adult kids, and we're working on skills like laundry and how we do dishes and how we cook and clean and doing laundry, budgeting. What's stuff that you're doing with your kiddos, and kind of age wise, when do you start working on different skills? Okay, sorry about that, folks. Okay, so So we've had a lot of different questions today. And if you are watching this later, you're not watching live. I know it's summertime and people are here and there and everywhere, um, running around, doing family vacations. So questions that we've had today are, what are some free or discounted activities that are available to foster and adoptive families? Put that in whether you're watching live or you're watching later. What do you do for self-care? What kind of information you need to know? Do you need to pass along to summer camps, vacation Bible schools, places that you're dropping your kids off this summer? What is the information that you should be sharing with them? What should you not share? What's too much information? And the other thing was just if you're watching and you've been helped by any of our resources, please, please, please go on our website. I put the link on Facebook. It wasn't working on YouTube, but on the bottom right corner of our transfiguringadoption.com website, there's a place where you can click on to do feedback. It's a survey, just a short survey. Let us know how we're doing so we can better serve you, so that we can also go out and get some numbers. That helps us to seek grants, to seek funding from corporations. We are just in the process of really trying to figure out how to best serve you and to expand our reach to get to more caregivers. So doing that quick survey for us would be just a great, great resource for us to resource you better. So as we're in kind of wrapping up here in the next 10, 15 minutes, what are you up to this summer? What's your self-care? What are your kids doing? Do you have if anybody has any other questions or thoughts or suggestions, advice, tips, anything they want to share, just pipe in. I know we're in the summer, so any thoughts and questions, let's share with each other. That's what this check-in is all about, is connecting with other caregivers, getting ideas, thoughts, suggestions, and asking our questions. So more about camp. Like I said, anytime we're dropping kids off with other adults, there's some things they need to know. There's some things they might not need to know. You might be in a place where you just are able to drop your kids off, and you don't need to share anything about their past. You don't need to say anything about just, it's not needed on a short-term basis. But there are those situations in which someone might need to know, hey, this is something this child really struggles with. This is a strategy. This can help them, or if there's certain behaviors, what triggers those behaviors? What do you share with people that are going to be in charge of your kids when you're not around? Whether that be teachers, summer camp, vacation Bible school. And what is too much information? A lot of times, with foster care, they tell foster parents it's a need to know basis. What do they need to know? So that's kind of a good rule of thumb when you're sharing information about your kids. If there's another adult who is going to be in charge of that child for a while, whether it's just a few hours or it's, every day during school or for a week during summer camp, or if they're overnight, there's things like, just especially if there's medication, if there's certain behaviors, what do you share? All right. Okay, any other thoughts or questions? Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap up for today. Definitely, if you have anything you want to talk about, let us know. We can address questions on a later date. A lot of times someone gets an idea and they shoot it to us. They can email us, Margie at transfiguringadoption.com or Darren at transfiguringadoption.com, and we will bring up those topics. We will discuss them as a group. It's a great way to just to share ideas. But otherwise, I think for today, I'm going to sign off. I hope that you're having a great summer. Let us know, what are you doing this summer? What are some ideas? What do you do with your kids when school is out and you've got everybody at home? Or, what are some resources for other families? Let's share that. So connect with us. Like I said, please fill out our survey on transfiguringadoption.com/survey. Take a couple minutes. That'll really help us. We want to resource you better. We want to get this out to more folks. We want to just expand our reach. So if you can take a couple minutes to do that, that'd be awesome. We hope we are helping you to nurture and grow your foster or adoptive family. So we are signing off of Facebook and signing off of YouTube.